Hello, and welcome to another episode of the CIRS Group podcast. I'm Barbara,
And I'm Jacie.
and today we thought it would be fun to dig into detox pathways.
I don't
And
know if we were inspired by fun. Is that
hi,
right?
that's a good point. Okay, maybe not.
We were like, what would be the most fun topic to talk about? And then
Detox
detox
pathways,
pathways is what came to
fierce.
mind.
No, No, it'll be a good time. We'll make it a good time. But I mean, this is important stuff for anyone dealing with SIRS. Your body already needs help getting rid of crappy stuff. Heyo, like literally, but like figuratively. Anyway, it needs help getting rid of stuff. There are ways that the body naturally gets rid of stuff, and we'll go through all of that. But we'll also talk about ways that, with SIRS, you may need to give your body a little extra help getting rid of stuff. So, yeah, and of course, as always, please do not take any of this as medical advice. We are not doctors. We're just patients, probably like you. You are probably a SIRS patient as well. So, we are just relaying information that we have learned, and hopefully, it will help you. And it's info that you can talk to your doctor or SIRS practitioner with to decide what works best for you and how to improve your detox pathwaying. Ing? Whatever. Anyway,
Fun. All right, so at a high level, detox pathways are how the body process and eliminate toxins. So whether those are internal toxins, so waste products created by different bodily processes, or external toxins, this is how your body eliminates them. So there's a bunch of different organs that are involved in this. I think most people know that your liver is a filter for toxins. Also, your kidneys. So, your kidneys will filter out waste in your urine. Your lungs. So, when you breathe in everything in the air, and hopefully, your lungs aren't letting the bad things in as much as the good things. You also exhale CO2, so your body's not keeping that inside of you. Your skin through sweating, and we're going to talk more about that in a bit. And then your lymphatic system. So that's actually other filters throughout your body that help capture different toxins and viruses and bacteria throughout your body. And then finally, because we are SIRS patients, we have to talk about the poop organs. So one way that your body eliminates toxins is specifically through your bowel movements, which is why it's so important for SIRS patients to, as Dr. D says it, always be pooping.
always. And what we mean by that is like at least once a day. Not like
Yeah.
literally all like could
No,
you imagine always pooping?
I hate this.
I know I hate it too. All right. We're done. I'm done with that.
Yeah, ultimately, your body is designed to detox. And so it's not so much about like flipping these huge levers trying to detox. I think everyone, like what, 10, 15 years ago, people did juice cleanses to detox. You don't need to
I
do
I
any of
was
that.
I was one of
Oh
them.
no, I'm so sorry. I
Oh, it was
had so
bad.
much judgment in my voice there.
No, it's deserved. I judge myself. It's fine.
But generally, the goal in your detox pathways is just to support the functions that they're already doing and not trying to employ all these like extreme interventions that are just going to make things ultimately more difficult.
So, some common stressors for your detox pathways that can impact your detoxing. Of course, we know about environmental toxins. It's what we always talk about here on this channel. Mold, pollutants, heavy metals, anything that's happening outside of your body that makes its way in, or in whatever way that is. There's lifestyle factors also. If you're eating a lot of processed food, fast food, stuff that's just not super great for you, alcohol. I know alcohol can be fun and also can relax some people if they're, need that in their life, but that can be obviously really hard on the body. And of course, a lack of sleep, which, insomnia and trouble falling asleep is a very common SIRS issue as well. So all of those things can contribute to not allowing your body to detox properly. Of course, on top of that, some of you may have to worry about infections or inflammation on top of SIRS, like Lyme, viruses, histamine overload. And all of these all of the things in our modern world, we hear stuff about don't drink out of plastic and like all this other stuff, right? We're around electronics, Wi-Fi, all the things. All of your systems are getting overwhelmed by a lot of random stuff, and it's hard to tell what's affecting you maybe more than the other person. We're all individuals too. So that's why support can be helpful. And in general, the idea is to do the best you can and like improve things. You're never going to get rid of all the what word am I looking for? The
Burdens?
stressors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
You're not going to
stressors is
get
good.
yeah, you're not going to get rid of all the stressors, but like that's not real life. But you just want to minimize where you can, and you don't want to, add fuel to the fire.
So, speaking of fuel to the fire, there's this concept of like a toxin bucket, and your body has a certain capacity to receive toxin. And then hopefully at the bottom of the bucket, you have a drain. And support is kind of two-factored. One is, well, actually, it's three-factored. It's one, reducing the amount of toxins in the bucket, two, increasing the capacity of the bucket, and three, increasing the drainage of the bucket. So the first thing there is like don't overwhelm your bucket in the first place. So if you're making the lifestyle choices that you can to avoid overburdening your systems in the first place, it kind of makes the rest of the steps easier and more effective because if you only have two toxins that you're trying to detox, then the one supplement you're taking might help with that versus if you have four toxins, you might need to take two supplements, etc. So really, if you can get out of exposure, I would say that's the number one thing for all CIRS patients. And I'm sure you're sick of hearing us say that. I'm sick of hearing me say that. I'm annoyed that it's a thing that we have to do, but it is a thing that we have to do. And then eating as well as you can and whatever that means for you, and then avoiding stress and triggers. And by triggers, I mean both emotional, but also physical, especially if you're someone who has histaminic reactions, because that is going to just continue to burden your immune system.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are some ways that you can just enjoy? Like there's some of the lifestyle things that you can do are actually quite fun or relaxing or whatever. So let's talk about that. Less fun, first to start off with, is hydration. I say less fun because I have a problem with Coke Zero. This is not Coke Zero in here. This is water.
It's not a
Look at me
problem. I
go.
don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man, Coke Zero and Root Beer Zero. I mean I really would live off that if I could. But anyway, no, water. Water is really important, especially for the kidneys and the lymph. Make sure I know. Like I hate saying it just as much as you hate hearing it. Drink more water. You don't have to like drown yourself in water, obviously,
Drink a
but like
reasonable amount of water.
yes. You know what really made a difference for me and like made me really think about water consumption? If anyone struggles with it like I do, this is who this is for. I went to a doctor who took a little bit of my blood and put it on a slide and put it under a microscope with a big monitor attached to it. And he showed me, bless you, he showed me what my blood looked like on the slide. And it like you could see it like flowing around. It was cool. It was really cool to see the red blood cells floating around. But then they like started clumping together really quickly because well, they were out of my body, but I guess they were doing that quicker than they should because I was dehydrated. I did not go to that appointment thinking any blood was going to be looked at. I would have cheated if I did, but I'm glad that I didn't. So now I can see. And I do see a difference. Like I drink a crap ton of water the day before in the morning of any blood draw because I know the blood draw is going to be a lot easier if I do that. That's because I'm dehydrated if I don't. So like, come on, Barbara, drink more water. So anyway, your blood is a good indicator apparently of your hydration levels, and I have seen that firsthand.
I follow the Brita account on Instagram, and there's this like trend of modern companies using like these unhinged marketing tactics. And the Brita company specifically has this th like an AI generated song about this guy who filled the Brita for his kitten, but she drinks a lot of iced coffee. Like she just doesn't give an F. And it's hilarious. It gets stuck in my head all of the time, but it makes me drink more water.
Wow. Hey, it worked. It
It worked.
worked.
Yeah, I don't have a Brita though. Sorry, Brita.
Yeah.
Moving on from the water situation, you want to drink that much water because the next suggestion is to do the sauna or sweat. This will help you with your skin and circulation, but you do detox through your skin. So definitely sweating. And if you're someone who doesn't sweat easily, like me, I recommend hot baths because it effectively does the same thing in an environment where you're not going to pass out because of it, because you're in the water. You can sit up and have that evaporation and cool off, but you will eventually sweat. Also, movement in any capacity can help increase lymphatic flow. So, walking, rebounding, yoga. One thing I found really helpful when I wasn't super mobile is putting my legs up on a wall at a 90-degree angle. And what that helps is lymphatic drainage from your legs. Otherwise, you're not going to really experience that very much if you're not super mobile. Deep breathing that will help with your lung capacity and just helping you detox from your lungs. Again, sleep, which is something I have been woefully lacking recently. I have a diabetic dog and she needs to pee like 27 times a day, including overnight. And it's just like, I just know I'm like at 75% as a new baseline because I'm not sleeping. So, like, anything you can do to improve your sleep, super great. And then, oh, also, I read this really interesting study about like there's all these posts or like media about being a side sleeper versus back sleeper versus stomach sleeper. Also, if you're a stomach sleeper, how I would feel like I was suffocating all night. But I'm a side sleeper and I was always kind of felt guilty for that because you're like supposed to be a back sleeper. That's what I was told by medical professionals. But I found these studies that say you don't drain the lymphatic system, which is the detox system in your brain, unless you sleep on your side.
Well, I think recently it might have been CIRS X related because it was like Alzheimer related, but like because you're laying on your back, like you have that compression back there and it's not allowing something to happen. Wow, look at all the information I'm sharing right now. Point being, back sleepers have a slightly higher chance of particular issues, neurodegeneration issues. Also, I will try to fact check myself after this episode is done recording to make sure I'm not talking out of my butt. But yeah, I've heard that too. And I'm a back sleeper myself. But of course, I've become more of a side sleeper since the whole back surgery thing. But yeah, that is interesting to me. I mean, I think maybe hedge your bets and try to sleep different ways, but I know that's really hard for people. Like you get used to the comfortable way to do it and you just always want to do it that way. It's
Yeah, I
really
sleep
hard.
on my side with a pillow in between my legs and Pepper the leopard, which is my stuffed animal, like tucked up against my chest. And even I've been like moving from my bed into the front room and sleeping on the couch. Like Pepper comes with me. My pillows come with me.
Yep.
I'm over 30 now. I can't sleep unless I have my particular sleep set up.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you're doing fine then. I think you like the goal is sleeping more, be comfortable, especially if you're dealing with chronic illness. Like maybe wait to like do the optimal sleep position when like all the other factors of your life are in better shape. You always have that option too.
All right, do you want to talk about some of the supplement supports?
Some of the supplements that you can take to help with all of these pathways of detoxing. Let's first talk about folate and B vitamins. Those specifically help with methylation, energy production, liver function. I can definitely attest to this. I know I got a B12 injection a few months back, so much energy. And I realized later that I'm actually quite deficient in some of the B vitamins. So, and a lot of people are. I think it's relatively common with CIRS. So you can check to see if you're low. Ask your doctor about any and all of the vitamins. Get as many checked as you can. And that can inform what supplements you invest in. For example, like the B vitamins.
I was going to mention too, Dr. Andrea Yordheim just did a really awesome methylation class in the CIRS group. So if you want to check that out, join the group. But in it, she mentions the different forms of folate that you can take and how different forms are going to be better or worse depending on if you have the MTHFR mutations. So
Sure.
definitely is something you want to consider when you're looking at supplementing anything for methylation. And this is going to be relevant for the glutathione and NAC too, which we're going to get to in a sec.
And I feel like it's a good time to just reiterate again, like we already did in the beginning. Like talk to your doctor about all of these things before you just try them willy-nilly. Because again, each thing comes in different forms. You can get it differently. I know when, like, the best way I've been able to absorb B12 has been actually sublingually. So I don't even need to go get injections all the time, like I might have thought I did, but spoke to my doctor. You can actually just get one that dissolves and that gets into your system better than digesting for me because my digestion's not great, my absorption's not great. Point being, a doctor or a nutritionist or somebody of that level that can look at your labs, order labs, and like go over them with you, that's going to help you a lot on, deciding which of these are really necessary and which are like either a waste of money or may actually like not be great for you. So, yeah. Going from there, magnesium. This actually helps with enzyme support. And of course, I think most people know the relaxation bit. Everyone talks about taking magnesium at night before bed. I know for me, it also, if you get specific types of magnesium, I usually do magnesium citrate. But what's the other one that helps pooping, JC?
Oh, I take magnesium malate.
Malate.
A
So,
lot of people will take the citrate. If you're sensitive to citric acid, which some CIRS patients are because it's refined from black mold, like industrially, malate might be a better option. There's also like theanine. There's a bunch of different forms. You can kind of explore which one works well for you.
yeah. So for all of those reasons, you can take magnesium, and that's helpful.
And the next step is glutathione and NAC. And this is when I said, depending on where you're at with methylation, it is super helpful as a master antioxidant and detox molecule. However, a lot of CIRS patients can't handle glutathione, in which case you might want to try NAC. And if you can't handle NAC, you could try resveratrol, which is like these are degrees of the same thing. NAC is the precursor to glutathione, and then resveratrol can help you produce more NAC. So those are some options if you want to help support methylation. And it's just a really dependent on where you are in your methylation capabilities. And again, that class by Dr. Your Time was so in depth. We're probably going to do another class in the group about like methylation 101 just because it was so in depth that we needed to understand more of like the basic building blocks to methylation before we could really grasp her class.
Yeah. And you can also take amino acids like glycine or taurine. That will help with phase two liver detox. So if you're, and especially if you're on medications that might be harder on the liver, like right now I'm still on Tylenol for my pain stuff. So it might be helpful to support liver detox when I'm on something that's loading it up. So that's something to consider as well and talk to your doctor about.
And pro hack on the glycine, if you are a carnivore and you miss having a little bit of sweetness, glycine in its pure form, like if you get it as a supplement, like as a powdered supplement, it's sweet. It's weird because it has that like cooling effect that you get from artificial sweeteners and it doesn't last very long. But if you like miss that sweetness and you just want something and you want to do something good for your body, check out glycine.
That's true. You have recipes that involve glycine on ladycarnivory.com, right?
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go search for those. That'll be a good time. And of course, your diet is important as well. There's good food sources depending on how, your way of eating. I know we promote carnivore or meat-based a lot here on this channel, but leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, and clean proteins are all really helpful. In general, whole foods when you can, hopefully most of the time. And then there's also the idea of fasting. A lot of CIRS patients probably don't tolerate fasting well, so this is going to be super individual. That said, I know a couple CIRS patients that have tried fasting just to kind of like clear out things from their body, and they do get that like I mean, I don't want to call it wired because that sounds negative, but like the energy part that you get a couple days into a fast. They're doing a water fast, they're still drinking water, mind you, but a couple days in, they get that energy. And so maybe that'll work for you. I personally love eating too much to even try it, but you may want to try it to help you out.
And another carnivore tip on the cruciferous vegetables, a lot of people find that really helpful when they have CIRS because of the sulforaphane, which is a sulfur, which is a detoxing compound. If you don't want to do Brussels sprouts, and why would you? You could, as an alternative, take MSM, which is methylated sulfur. And so that can be an alternative sulfuric compound to use to help with detox.
And I think the I remember the doctor that I assume really popularized the sulforaphane, hermetic effect that's happening in the body. Is this related to what we're talking about?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know where you're going.
Okay. Do you know Dr. Rhonda Patrick?
I've heard of her.
Okay. She went on Joe Rogan and she talked about, oh, we want like she's like the antithesis of like Saladino saying like we don't want to eat vegetables because they hate us and they have toxins. And she's like, no, you do want toxins because it's going to challenge your body like working out. So anyway, point is, I believe she's now pushing a product that is just like the sulforaphane part. Am I even saying that right? Doesn't matter. Anyway, the thing you can really go down a rabbit hole when it comes to like those products. So again, you can just go ahead and eat the veggie, but if you're like me and like the veggies kind of hurt your stomach, there are some products that you can look into as well to go into that stuff.
Just like, okay, if her logic is it challenges the body, like what's her feeling on arsenic? Like just a little sprinkle of it on your
Well,
food. Like,
yeah,
where do you
that'll
draw the
be.
line?
Where do you draw the line? I mean,
I
that
draw it
is
at
like
Brussels sprouts.
I like Brussels sprouts
What is wrong with you?
with bacon or soy
You like
sauce.
bacon, you like soy sauce.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's true. Okay. But yeah, I would say that's the thing to like that is the debate with all of these like health optimizers, Like these might be chronically ill people. They probably are. But these like gym bros, fitness enthusiasts, like when they're like, "No, I do my cold plunge every morning and I do this and I do, like at some point, what are you staving off? Like why do you need to do all of those things to live and be happy and be not inflamed?
I just posted a piece of sourdough bread on my carnivore Instagram account.
I saw and I liked it. It was great.
And I got like a bajillion messages saying carbs? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And my point with that is like, if you have to do any health support thing, if you have to be carnivore or you flare your symptoms, if you have to do cold plunges or you can't exist in the world, you probably have an underlying issue that needs to be addressed. And maybe it's supporting your detox pathways.
Maybe it is. Also, maybe it's hers.
Maybe
But
there's a reason why your detox pathways need to be supported.
right. But like what I want to ask the people who sending you message, like, did they read the caption? You were very detailed in your caption.
I put it in my stories first with no context. Then I got all the carbs messages, and then I made the post so that if people sent me more questions, I could just send them the post.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I understand now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry to wrap the reeling it back in. Sorry, I did that to us.
No, it's great. I love
You'll notice in the supplement supports, we're not saying charcoal, we're not saying clay, which are typical binders that are recommended to help you detox toxins. And that is because for CIRS patients, your detox pathways are already so burdened. We're not trying to put more through it. We're trying to support the processes that are already happening. And then ideally, you would be on cholestyramine, Welchol, or one of the, you know, biotoxin specific binders so that you can really focus all of your energy on detoxing the biggest levers. And then maybe later on in your CIRS journey, you do need to do charcoal, clay, you need to chelate some heavy metals. But the reason you don't want to do both of those at the same time is it's like all of these pathways are already so burdened. It's like you're riding a bicycle with a broken wheel. And that's going to hurt. Like you're going to bump your crotch multiple times if you try to do that. So really just focus on supporting things, taking the biotoxin binders, and then you can explore other detoxing binders later on in your CIRS journey.
Absolutely. Yes. I think yeah, that was a good you brought us back home.
Yeah.
I feel good about that.
Okay.
There we go. Well, for more info and support and like we mentioned, classes and all kinds of fun things, join us over at the cirsgroup.com.
We'll see you there.